Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faithful Acolytes, we take a look at this. Today's product comes courtesy of Roger Damps of Burn Your Tongue, the favorite emporium for all things delectably hot, with actual real live physical locations along the Wasatch Front in Utah. If you're like me, when you're looking for a sauce slinger, you want selection. And with well over 800 varieties, you're sure to find it at Burn Your Tongue. You can also check out Burn Your Tongue on Facebook and Instagram, as well as Burn Your Tongue online. Roger is one of the true aces in the chili head world, and we raise our flame in salute. Now, let us return to the ceremony. And what this is from the Generals, it is the Berry Breach hot sauce. You can see it's a little tad loose, Now it comes in this attractive grenade shape, as the Generals products tend to be. 6-ounce bottle here. All right, we've got, what do we got? Blueberries, habaneros, honey, white vinegar, and salt. So I will say this about this. There's a certain aspect to most of the General stuff. This one has no exception. And I feel like it's probably a little fermenting or something in the mash. And they all tend to have it. This one, I wouldn't say the honey reads super strong, but definitely it's a very interesting sauce. Very, very curious. You can see it's sort of like here it has a sort of purple hue to it. And then here in the spoon it resolves to a little bit more brownish in there, but I think it's a really good looking sauce. It is quite nice. I am intrigued. I'm intrigued by the General's foray into fruit sauces. I think they do an interesting job with just the peppers. It's hard to, they have such distinctive packaging. It's hard to sort of separate that from the sauce inside because it is so distinctive. But they are making some generally really interesting sauces. They tend to have a sort of fermented style to them, and they tend to be generally pretty pepper forward. I don't know how accurate this is on the tag, 86% peppers. I don't know how that would be possible when blueberries are the first ingredient here. So I don't know if that really applies necessarily to everything, that little dog tag thing. But I think I was really interested to see what their foray into fruit and some of the other ancillary products are. And overall, I have found them to be really, their approach is quite unlike anybody else's. And, I commend them for that. I think they're doing a fairly bang up job over there, just kind of presenting something different as far as these sort of styles of sauces. I don't think that always works for my palate, but I do appreciate that somebody's out there, trying to have a little bit different approach to stuff. All right, so anyway, the color here, yeah, kind of a purplish brown. It's pretty. I like this color. I think it looks quite nice. Let's get into it. The first smell, the first flavor, it really reminds me of something fermented. And that's
This sauce, it's a lot more obvious than in some of the other ones. There's always that sort of unique aspect to these sauces, and I'm pretty sure that's what it is. The fermentation process that they're using, or just the way that they're processing it once that's done. Very, very interesting. So this one, you get a lot, actually, a notable sense of the habanero there. This one, this one's a bit bittery, a bit punchy due to that habanero presence, but you can definitely get the undercurrent of the blueberries as well. And interestingly, the salt also. It is possible too that they might be using the same vinegar for all of them, and maybe that is coloring the sauces somewhat. I'm not quite sure. Honey doesn't read very strongly in here. I suspect it's just that's the sweetener agent that they used. This is not a very sweet sauce though, and probably it would have been considerably more, I guess, probably astringent had they not been there. And blueberries can kind of go one of two ways. Sometimes they are super, super sweet, and sometimes they're just not quite at that level. And cooking them down can get you different results. This one, I don't know how sweet the berries were when they started, but the end result is certainly not super sweet. So, I was going to have this on a burger, but it's too cold for grill season at the moment. So I thought, all right, well, it's been a while since I've had a roast beef, but they're not in the 3 thing anymore. They're not in the 3-pack, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just get some sliders in rather than. I didn't feel like making one, and Arby's definitely has a unique aspect to their roast beef, I think. So these are the sliders with meat and cheese. $2 for this. But it was $5 for the sandwich, and that would definitely have not been worthwhile. I think their meat and 3 thing is reasonable, but if you order off of that, it gets really dicey, really questionable immediately. All right, so let's give this a whack. Wow. Yeah, berries and beef are just excellent together. That was maybe a bit much there. That's pretty nice. I wonder if this is, maybe this is on the King's Hawaiian. The bun tastes a tad sweet here. If it would have been warm enough for grill season, I would have been having this on a grilled burger for sure. Yeah, this has a little bit of punch to it, and it's got a little bit of the habanero creep as well. Habanero being a building pepper, and so you can start to get some of that aspect of this as well. It's not what I would say is challenging, but it's very nice. I just wish this wasn't as bitter as it is. It's kind of my one complaint about this. It's the problem sometimes with habaneros. Depending on which color you use, you can get something that is quite bitter. So if I had to guess, these are probably orange habaneros that they used here. But, you know, berries and Berries and red meat are outstanding together. And it kind of surprises me that some restaurants haven't sort of picked up on that and tried to make that a menu item. There's a lot of really, really good berry sauces out there. I don't know that I would say this is one of them. And it's not me trying to slag on the sauce or anything. I say that because there's just very, very stiff competition out there in the berry hot sauce world, I suppose. This one I think is very intriguing. And I do like what's here a lot. I just don't like the bitter notes. Like those I could do without. I really wish they would have tempered those out and just gone in a much sweeter direction. That was kind of one of my questions going in, was would the General tend towards the sweet of what we would normally consider a sweet hot style? And the answer, at least with this sauce, is in the negative. But I definitely wish they would have. Their distinctive packaging, their distinctive look, I think they make quality sauces. I mean, I have not ever had any of their sauces where I haven't thought that. I think the honeys and the maple syrup, the other sauces I've done, quality has not ever really been in question as far as I'm concerned. Once some of these get into some of my more favored styles, though, to me it bumps the stakes up a little bit, right? And for this one, I love fruit-based sweet hot. I love sweet hots in general, but I love fruit-based sweet hots. And so I've had just a lot of those. And I'm always kind of hopeful for certain aspects. And this one, I mean, it definitely delivered on, this is probably between a 1 and a 2 as far as heat goes. I wouldn't say maybe 1 to 1.5 actually, would probably be more accurate. So it is nice in that regard, and it's fairly immediate, and it has a nice build to it. I think the flavor is very recognizably blueberry, although it's more salty blueberry. There is that little bit of astringency. There's that note that I'm pretty sure is from the fermentation. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It just, I wish it was sweeter. That is the big thing I keep coming back to every time I have this. I'm like, it's good. I wish it was sweeter. I just keep resolving to that over and over again. And I think if it was sweeter, that bitter note would be played down a lot more. Instead of being kind of something that becomes a little bit of a sticking point, at least with me, in terms of my palate. I'm like, habaneros right again, right? I think habaneros do have some value. They're certainly ubiquitous. They're one of the least expensive ways to get into hot peppers, if you like pods in particular. But the amount of sauces I think that use the orange habaneros that are forward in the flavor that I actually enjoy is probably fairly low. And this one's kind of in the middle. I don't, it's not one of my favorites, but I don't dislike it either. And obviously I'm going to, just like the others, I will be whipping through this bottle. I'm really excited to try it on those grilled burgers. I think it's going to be very, very interesting, because if you see some of my other videos where I do grilled burgers, I have a pretty specific way of preparing them. And this sauce in coordination with that, the black pepper, maybe a little bit of the kosher salt, is going to be, I think, very, very interesting. So I am looking forward to that. But yeah, as far as their foray into sweet hots, I can't really say it's happened yet. I mean, this is the style that we would expect with this. But again, this is just not a particularly sweet sauce. And I think it would have been better served to have been. And that's kind of what the one sticking point I keep coming back to with this. But like I said, I do dig them branching out. And, you know, I know they've got a couple other new sauces out. And I'm going to try to hunt those down at some point as well. And their approach, I think, is very distinctive as their packaging. And I do admire and appreciate that part of it for sure. Whether the sauces work out to my unique palate or not. But and this one is kind of in the middle, and I guess we'll just leave it right there. So that was the General's Berry Breach Hot Sauce.
Number 4. In peace to serve the flame.